Hi, good afternoon. Just a very quick message about Born to Finish tonight. Those of you who are on WhatsApp will have already heard a quick audio message. Unfortunately, I'm unable to get the audio that's on WhatsApp into a format that works on these emails, so you're left with a video. Hopefully, I won't see anything in the video that I didn't see in WhatsApp or vice versa, so that I don't sound like I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. But as I'm sure most of you know now, Born to Finish runs tonight at 8 o'clock at Kempton. Pat Cosgrave again takes the ride, and Ed is very pleased with him. He really has come out of the race well. There is a chance that the run last week would have brought him on a little bit. He was a little bit fresh in the early stages, as we mentioned in the video the other day, but he's been superb since he got back after that run. He's completely demolished his breakfast this morning. He's in really good spirits, and Ed's looking forward to seeing him run tonight. Now, there's a lot being made in the Racing Post about the fact that he's running off a £9 higher mark today than he would do on the turf, and that's true. But he has a split mark for a reason, and he runs off a 72 tonight on the all-weather. Because that's the mark that the handicap has allocated him for his all-weather form. So what I would draw a comparison to is not so much the fact that he's 63 on turf and 72 on the all-weather, but more a case of how he's run on the all-weather off similar marks in the past. Now, if we just quickly run down his marks and runs in the past, the highest mark he's ever ran off was behind a horse called Sparkalot. He was only beaten 5 lengths that day, although he finished 9th to 12. Sparkalot was a red-hot favourite. That was decent form. He ran off 81 in the race where, unfortunately, he ended up with his injury. But before that, off 80, he was only beaten a length and a quarter behind a horse called Excellent George at Chelmsford. He actually went off favourite that night, off 80. Now, 72 tonight. So, I mean, it's a big difference. And these runs were only last year. You know, they weren't a long, long time ago. He was beaten a short head at Newcastle off 80 with Joe Fanning on board, where he should have been given the race in the steward's room. If we do go back a little bit further, he ran off 80 back in the time when he was with Jeremy Gask. Before we'd had the move of the yard, and before he'd really grown up, and you know he was only beaten 3 lengths that day. He's also won off 78, second beaten a short head off 77, second beaten 3/4 length off 77, won a race of 76, won a race of 74. He's on a winning mark tonight. You know, now, I don't want to put any more pressure on Born to Finish than what he already feels from some of the owners. But we know that he can win off this mark. Theoretically, he could win twice. He could win tonight and then go again with a penalty and win. But racing doesn't work as straightforward as that. And we know that he has to actually deliver on the night. Now, as I say, Ed is very, very pleased with how he is. And if there is a concern about tonight, it's about how much pace will be in the race. The 3 horses with likely speed early are drawn 1, 2 and 3, which has to help. They may well encourage each other to go on. I do think it'll be the Clive Cox horse, Silka Mistress, that'll try and make the running for Adam Kirby. Been proven wrong before with things like this, but that seems to be where the pace is. And as that horse is drawn 2, it would make absolute sense for them to go on from there. We're drawn 9, which isn't the best draw in a lot of sense, but it will give us a chance to drop the horse in and to find his feet. Now, if there isn't as much pace in the race as we would like, and it is proven to be correct, then the suggestion will be made to Pat to try and get Born to Finish a lot more prominent than what he has been in the past. We know that he sees out the distance, and we know that he stays on very well in these sort of sprint races and 7 furlong races. What he doesn't have is an electric turn of foot. So if he ends up in a slowly run race with a number of other horses, and anybody else gets first run on him, he won't be winning. So what needs to happen is he needs to be close enough. If any of you got access to the archives, it's worth watching his run back at Newcastle under Joe Fanning, which was a very, very slowly run race. There was only 7 runners. I mean, there's 11 tonight, and Newcastle is a slightly different course to Kempton. But he got himself out there. Joe got him, not prominent, but he was a lot closer at the pace than what he normally would be, and kicked on a long way out with him. And he ran right to the line. He should have got that race in the steward's room. I still maintain that he was robbed that night. But there's no point going back over that again. But yeah, we're hopeful of him running a big run. Definitely, there's 20-1 is a crazy price. I can get why in a lot of ways why he is that kind of price. But I think that if we were to look back at, he's had one all-weather run since he moved to Ed, and that was a run where he missed the break badly and on a track that massively favoured the front runners. So the fact that we got £4 off the back of him for the way that he ran that day is exceptionally generous. If we go back just to this time last year, when he ran in the race, which unfortunately he got injured in, he ran in that race the 21st of August. It's just 13 months or so ago. He went in that race off 81. And that was off the back of some good runs and from when he'd shown some really nice form. He's now £9 lower. Now, forget the turf. All he's done since then is run a race when he's beaten 5 3/4 lengths when he got injured, and then another race, as we've just mentioned, at Wolverhampton. It is unbelievably generous that he has been dropped £9 for this. Absolutely crazy in my eyes, and if we were running against a horse who'd had this advantage, then I would be astonished. Now, that said, he is a year older. He has had the injury. The run at Brighton was better, but it wasn't brilliant. The run at Hamilton, clearly the ground was very bad. Wolverhampton, we've touched on. Brighton, he missed the break, and Pat Cosgrave got off and said he needed the wind surgery. The run at Goodwood wasn't great, and the run at Windsor wasn't bad. So he does need a good run. We need him to have a good run, and hopefully it'll be tonight. We know he likes Kempton, so let's fingers crossed and see that's there. The cheek pieces are back on. He didn't wear them at Brighton. Ed is very much of the same mindset as Jamie Osborne was, in the fact that they feel that the benefit cheek pieces bring to a racehorse, especially over these distances, is minimal, if none. However, I maintain that all his good runs have been when he has had cheek pieces. Even in the short experiments, the short period since he's been with Ed, he didn't have them on in Windsor, but that wasn't a bad run. But he did have them on at Brighton, and it wasn't great. And he didn't have them on again at Brighton last time, and again it was okay, but it wasn't great. It does seem to be just a mad coincidence that he's now had the 3 runs. I hadn't realised that 3 runs he's had at Brighton, and none of them he's ever won the cheek pieces at Brighton. So it's the cheek pieces are back on. A couple of people have been asking about the bit. He's wearing a standard bit tonight. He doesn't like the ring bit. Ed's not keen on using that. He doesn't seem to like the ring bit at all. And the spoon bit that he was wearing isn't necessary because he's had the wind up. So it's a standard bit tonight. It is the cheek pieces back on. The plan will be to let him break as he always breaks. I mean, there's no point rushing him out from the start. It's not so much that he misses the break. He breaks like everybody else, and then just tends to take a couple of strides to find his feet. We're going to allow him to do that, and then Pat will ride the race as he sees fit. He's an excellent jockey, Pat Cosgrave. He's very, very experienced. He knows what he's doing. So if they're going quick, Pat will take his seat and wait. If they're not going too quick, he'll try and get more prominence, so in a better position for when they kick. But, fingers crossed. Once the race is over tonight, obviously it's 8 o'clock. It's getting relatively late. By the time it's finished and everything else, I will do everything I can to get some form of a quick update out tonight. Again, this is one of the reasons. I know it's starting to sound very, very boring for those of you who don't use it, but this is one of the advantages of WhatsApp, because there will be a video on there very, very quickly of the jockey interview if we possibly can get it. There'll be quick messages sent through from Ed or myself about what any feedback is from the race, as well as getting the opportunity to see photographs from the course from the owners who are there, who are taking pictures of him in the pre-parade ring and when he comes back in after the race. Now, taking all this information and putting it into an email takes time, and it needs to be done with a certain piece of software. I won't have access to that software after tonight until Thursday. So if I can pull this together and get the email out tonight or very, very early tomorrow morning, then I will do. If I can't, I'll apologise now, it will be Thursday. But we'll do what we can to keep everybody totally up to speed with what's going on. So I asked Ed, I mean, obviously we don't particularly encourage or discourage, everybody makes a bet that it's on their own terms. But I asked Ed, what would you recommend if any of the owners was to ask you about Bolton to finish tonight as a betting proposition? And he said at 20 to 1, he's got to be an each way bet at the very least. The plan is there that he's there to win tonight, but we run to win every time. I'm not a big fan of the favourite. I think the favourite's being dropped back to 7 because it seems to be, it was running very well over a mile, but not quite getting home. I'm not overly in love with that, with the form of that horse. The John Butler horse, Kamikaze Lord, is a 3-year-old, so obviously has advantages with that. And that horse is deemed to have been very, very unlucky last time. I don't buy into that theory at all. I think that the horse had plenty of opportunity to get out and win the race if the race was there to be won. The Ed Dunlop horse could be better, could improve tonight. You've then got Uncle Jerry and Astro Speed, which have both been relatively heavily backed. I think they were both put in at ridiculously high prices this morning, so it doesn't surprise me they've come in a little bit. Either one of those could be a big threat tonight. If I was to have a bet in the race that wasn't born to finish, I'd be looking at Silka Mistress. I think the Morgan Botty horse, the drift for that first, I don't think that's there. And Midas Girl, again, a horse that I just think... I'm looking at these form compared to what Born to Finish has done on the all weather. And if any of these horses were in the kind of race that Born to Finish has ran very well in the past, or even won in the past, they'd be 16 to 1, 20 to 1. I don't know. It's very difficult where you have an affinity with a horse and you've known the horse as long as I've known Born to Finish, like a lot of you guys have. And you know what ability and what this horse has done in the past. I never thought I'd see this horse running off 72 this year in the all weather. I really didn't think I'd see it run off 72 and priced at 20 to 1. But it's down to 72 for a reason, as generous as I think it is. The handicapper generally gets these things right. And the bookies don't tend to get an awful lot wrong. So the fact that he's 20 to 1, 25 to 1 in places is because that's what they're judging his form chance on his recent form. But anyway, good luck to everybody tonight. And if anybody's got any questions, please drop me an email. Thank you.